Here I am, Deonce, aka Morpheus. This is a very valuable audio today. And this is actually something to be given to maybe a new relationship. Most times it's probably for teenagers or those who are growing up, maybe around the age of, you can like to say maybe 16 or 18 and 19, if they have held their, you could say, their virginity intact. But you see the title, and that particular donkey dunk before marriage. It's a very valuable thing, actually. And I'm going to break it down very simple to you in this particular subject that we have. Oftentimes, we just misunderstand a lot of things because of the society. And it's the older people around the age 57, 46, and if they're blue pill, if these men and women are blue pill, all right, they're the problem for the society. And they're going to say exactly that. They're going to say, well, donkey dunk before marriage is no good. You got it? But the reality is they shouldn't get married, period. That's the idea, not to get married. And actually telling a teenager or a child not to donkey dunk before marriage is like telling a child that candy is no good for them. Or a kid. Whether you like it or not, children and kids alike, they're going to get candy whether you like it or not. It's all about that sometimes. When they go to the store, the first thing they want to get is candy. Right? That's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to go to the candy aisle. They're going to ask you where the candy is. And if it's not candy, it's going to be toys. They're going to ask you where the toys are in the store. Okay? So sitting here and think, well, the solution is to tell these teenagers or kids not to donkey dunk before marriage. You're wrong on both accounts. All right. You can debate it all you want to. You'll be debating it all by yourself because I know I'm right. You have to figure it out. I've already figured it out. All right. In today's society, marriage isn't idea. OK, as a matter of fact, I'm totally against it. So that means you're going to donkey dunk one way or the other. All right. And it's going to happen eventually. All right, because if you think that the solution is not to donkey dunk before marriage, if you donkey dunk when you get married, it's not going to change anything. It makes matters worse. Because those inexperienced person can either be your living nightmare, okay, or they're going to be truly your living nightmare because they have no experience and it's a new thing and it's like opening up a nun. Okay, once that freedom is experienced, or once that freedom is allotted in the mind of that individual, okay, they're not going to go back. And as a matter of fact, they may want more of it, and they will want more of it with other people because they're going to want to experience it in a different way and curious about its various sensations and energies that it has to offer because of their inexperience. This is why sometimes getting with an inexperienced person really isn't a good idea in the beginning. It can become harsh. It's opening up a totally different world to them. All right. So it'll be the dumbest thing for you to do to tell them to wait till marriage or to wait till, here we go, to wait for them to get into a financial contract that doesn't benefit men. Okay. In order to donkey dunk, you will find a whole lot of people just doing that to donkey dunk. And when it's not good enough or they're disappointed with the activity or the performance of their partner, guess what? They're going to get a divorce anyway. So let's stop thinking stupid. Let's stop thinking stupid. And as a matter of fact, it's not about donkey dunking. Have you been looking at the country lately? You've been reading the news. Have you been paying attention to your surrounding world? Or are you that, what do you call that? You that old? You know, are you that lackadaisical and absent of understanding statistics in your country where you can comprehend even your mind, okay, of what it is focusing on? Okay, I have to break it down like that. Okay, because donkey dunking isn't the problem. The problem is knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. The problem is teaching the statistics, ladies and gentlemen. The problem is learning and teaching your teenager or your child what the conditions and the results are. And if you want to go even further than that, the number zero basic, meaning the number one lesson and experience that these children need to know about the dangers of donkey dunking versus having a child versus if they want to decide to get into a marriage is you living by example. That is the biggest thing. The biggest thing is you living by example for your children, for your daughter, or for your son, because they are watching you 24 hours, 7 days a week. So it don't matter what you say. If you are struggling in a marriage, they're not going to want to be in a marriage because of you and your wife. If you are struggling to be a good example of what it means to not donkey dunk, good luck with that, because they're standing there. They exist because of your donkey dunking. So they're not going to know the consequences, or they're not going to know the experience itself behind it, but what you say to them. So therefore, if you're blue pill and you're already married and you are in this relationship, you're going to struggle trying to explain to this person not to donkey dunk before marriage that you got yourself into. All right. When the very fact is you don't have to get married in order to stay together. So I broke that down for you. Let me go ahead and give you a red pill. The problem with a lot of people today, and especially those who lived a blue pill life, blue pill beta life, a lot of men, okay, is that they're so out of date. And especially too religious. They're all in religion. Religions tell them it's better to marry than to burn. You're supposed to get married. It's the traditional thing to do. All right. So their solution is to play the same old 1903 solution that they've taught in the old days. Get married first before you have children. Get married first before you donkey dunk. All right. They have no idea that today is the 2020s. This is a different time. It's a different universe. It's a different energy, and it's a different batch of people in different circumstances. You got to understand that men aren't stupid anymore. All right. Men are wising up. We got red pill men now in the country. You understand? We got MGTOW now. Men aren't interested in bowing down to a financial system that's going to keep him from his freedom. That's going to have the potential of taking his children away from him. You understand? So therefore, why would you say it's better for you to wait until marriage in order for you to donkey dunk? That's the dumbest thing you can imagine yourself to do. And you're setting yourself up for failure, and it shows just how old you are and outdated when you talk like that. It shows just how far-fetched your imagination is. There's all sorts of preventative measures to prevent teen pregnancy. There's all kind of ways to prevent bringing a child into the world without being responsible for that child. There's plenty of information. There's plenty of possibilities to show this child the damages or the damaging results thereafter. It's plenty of time where you can even ask that child what they think. How do they feel about the opposite sex? Like your son, how do you feel about girls? What do you think about them? Or even for the girl, what do you think about boys? What is your take on boys? Do you talk to boys at school? What do you want from boys? What do you want in your future? And you have to comprehend that they're going to try to play it off because they don't want that conversation with you. They're going to be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not ready for that. I'm too scared around boys or girls. Or, oh, Dad, this ain't the time for that. Or what do you mean? Girls are just girls. What do you want me to say? Because they have a childlike mind. You understand? They're going to come at you with that. So they pretty much ain't going to explain it to you. Now, there's some that will. Okay, I'm not saying that they won't. But the chances that you're going to get a simple answer is pretty much rare. but you still have the obligation to yourself and that child's future, even if their response to you is offbeat. But if you sit there and you talk to them, okay, they will get the ideal of the consequences. You got it? But one thing you don't want to tell them, and that is to get married. I know how ornery and crazy that might sound. Okay, getting married is not the ideal for the future. Okay, it was maybe several years ago, but not in this generation. Okay, all right. In the 1990s, things started to shift for the worse. It was awakening during that time, back in the 1980, 1985, 1986. It was getting down to that path. Actually, it was developing. But the doors was closed in 1990 of getting married and trying to think that this is the American dream. It was said and done by then. All right. So the whole lesson is teaching these children how to come together as an adult, how to unify as an adult, how to be responsible as an adult. And if you're going to be donkey dunking, if you're going to get into an intimate encounter with the opposite sex, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to prepare for. This is going to be the consequences. And let me share this with you. That's what the conversation should be. The problem is, and here's another problem. We're not adults anymore. We're not parents anymore. We're children. We're literally children. We are literally, our brains are actually blank when it comes to kids, where we got to get counseling. We need a third party. We need some type of counseling from our ministers, our pastors, our priests. We need a second opinion. You know, we need to get on, we got to get on social media and go for somebody else's experience in order to figure it out. That's how dumb we are. That's how blank our mind is. Okay. And my expression to you, whenever I hear individuals say, and there's no excuse, Morpheus gives no excuses at all. I told you my policy is zero. Then why do your rusted butt take them to school? Think about that for a second, genius. Why do you take them to church if they can't be taught? And when they're about 21, 22 years old, they have learned everything that you put before them. Every indoctrination, every classroom study. As a matter of fact, if you take your child to kindergarten to first grade and they teach them the squares, the blocks, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, dummies, you know, when they are able to speak like that, okay? Check this out. By the time they're 5 years old, 6, they already know their ABCs. They know how to count, or depending on, I think it's about 7, 8 years old. I don't go that far now because some children, they take time to get into school and to absorb information. By the time they're 7 to 8 years old, they should know how to do their ABCs. They know about their squares. They know about the blocks. They can describe a pig and a chicken. You know, old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O song. They know about all that, right? You say, how did they get it? Well, duh, somebody taught them. So if you sit here and say that you can't sit down with your child and tell them about the birds and the bees, according to relationships and according to what marriage is, okay, you are out of your mind and you should not have children and you should not have had a child. You are a problem for your child and you need to go back to school yourself. When your child goes back to first grade, you go back to first grade with them. Okay, as a matter of fact, when they go to high school, you sign up for high school as well. Okay, and redo your programs all over again because you're not understanding. All right. The reason is we're not teaching them. We're not putting the necessary time that's invested. If you take their waddle behind the school and you take them there to church to learn about your Jesus the crest, your gesture the crest, then you can do the same thing at home when you're talking about relationships. And the problem is we're continuously trying to indoctrinate them based on tradition that don't work today. You're trying to program them based on a program that was back in 1930. That's how smart you are. Buddy, this isn't 1930. This is the 2020s. Therefore, you need to take marriage and put an X mark on it. Take the wedding vows, take the white dresses, take the monkey suit, okay, and put an X over it But yet you still need to peer bond. You still need to have a family. If the human race is going to survive, we still need families. We still need to procreate. We still need to generate the next human being. Of course, right? But in order to do that, guess what you got to do? You got to train or teach them. You got to show them, and you got to be an example. Therefore, the unity will be solid. Therefore, it's not about donkey dunking and getting married. Donkey dunking is going to happen anyway. Whether 18 or 88, it's going to happen. Like breathing water, or like drinking water and breathing air, one way or the other. Therefore, the idea is telling them the results and the consequences. When you tell a child or teenager, well, don't have sex until, don't donkey dunk until you get married. Okay, you need to fix your operating system. Okay, I recommend you to Microsoft or an IT team so they can take out your motherboard and fix you, because your programming is jacked up. You are beyond help. And if anything, I will put a request in them for them to refurbish your mind. You got it? I said it. You don't like it? Too bad. I don't care about your feelings nor emotions. I go straight to the fact and to the core, to your vein. If you don't like it, find another channel. This is men here. Children are not allowed. That is adult with a child like mine. You are to tell them specifically, hey, this ain't what it used to be, but let me be a good example by action. And not only a good example by action, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the opposite set. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about what you are to be expecting here in the 2020s. And you walk with them just like you do in school. The teachers walk with your classroom or your children. It may be a different teacher, but it's a different curriculum from from kindergarten to grade, well, until you graduate. That's basically 12th grade, then you go to college, right? So they walk with them. Every year, there's going to be a new study, a new discovery, and you're going to wrap up the intelligence or the information. You got it? Until they understand the lesson. And by the time they graduate, they understand all the algorithms. They understand social studies. They understand the spelling. They can probably, I don't know about cursive handwriting. I got to look into that if they're still teaching cursive handwriting. But they should know how to cursive handwriting. Okay, they should know how to add. They should know algebra, trigonometry. If they're in their senior year, they should know about these kind of things. A little bit of biology, a little bit of science. Pythagorean theorem, magnetism. Okay, the universe, the solar system. You got it? They know about that. And how does it happen? Somebody taught them. Not the world, not the environment, not some invincible Casper the Friendly Ghost. It was a teacher somewhere. So therefore, when you decide to bring a child into the world, whether they're 1 year old to 16 years old, you still have the obligation to teach them. You can show them, hey, I know you're going to donkey dunk. All right. You don't know it right now because you're a virgin. You don't know it. And as a matter of fact, you probably think you never have the opportunity, but I can guarantee you maybe in the far future, if it's not sooner or later, son, it's going to happen. But let me tell you what's going to happen when you do it. What's going to happen when you create another human being? This is what you are to expect in the 2020s. This is the conditions now, and these are the rules. You got it? It does not help, and it's not going to be successful for these new generational kids here in 2020. You still talking that dumb nonsense. Well, it's better to marry than to burn. Well, you better go ahead and get married if you like that person. Put a ring on it. Go ahead and put yourself in a contract. Go ahead and put your head in the blender like yours. Dumb. No, teach your children to be free. Teach your children not to go down that path of a contract and limiting lifestyle that the country pretty much don't care about or bias about. Tell him that he needs to be free to be the man that he can. He can still donkey dunk if he want to, but he has to be careful. He has to be aware, and he has to put his emotions aside and watch out for the snares and the deceptions that the opposite sex can put over his face or his eyes to prevent him from seeing the reality that she's all about. That's why you have the red pill. This is why you have MGTOW, not that dumb, oh, it's bad, you got to wait for donkey dunking. Get married first, then you can donkey dunk all you want to. All you want to. So you are going to be responsible. You will be definitely responsible with soul, reason, and resource. If he's dumb enough to get married, put himself in a compromised position, and he's divorce raped, divorce robbed, and taken for all his resource, and his kids is somewhere else. Not everybody is successful in that circle. Not everybody has their lawyer or the attorney there with them. No matter how smart you think you are, but well, I got my 4 kids. I was able to get my 3 kids. I fought for custody and I won. Well, Johnny Green Giant and Jack B. Nimble Stupid. Okay, that's for you. Not everybody else is fortunate. There are some men out there who have tried that and they have failed. There are men who proven to the court system that they were more fit to be the sole parental protector and guardian of their child. And the court system just said, I don't care. She's a woman. So you just deal with it. Suck it up. Because she's a woman, she has custody and you will not, sir. You will not. It's only lately and seldomly, piece by piece, the country is waking up. As a matter of fact, piece by piece, the legal system is waking up as well. You understand? It's not all the way around the country, but there are some judges, there are some lawyers, and there are some people who understand the game. Okay, when his girlfriend walk into the courtroom and start pretending to crying, crying wolf. He hurt me. I want a divorce. They know what time of day it is. They're in the back room. When the judge is in the back room, she or he is taking a handful of red pills before they get started. Okay? The lawyer, before they get down there and they start supporting you or speaking for her, depending on the situation it is. Okay, even though he's red pill, he knows she's out of shape. He's just getting paid to support her. Okay, they're in the back room taking their red pill before they get out there. You understand? So therefore, piece by piece, there are groups of them who are doing it and they realize they can see right through her. And the judge is looking at her with a straight face. No matter how much she cries, the judge isn't moved nor emotional. It's all going to be about who is able to take care of this child, whether you are a female or not. This child needs to be taken care of. Get out of my courtroom with your boo-hoos and your ahas. You can go cry out the door. As a matter of fact, I'll give you this tissue right here. You stand outside in the hallway and you clean up that mess and that white stuff or clear stuff on your face, and you come back in here with a straight face. Then I'll deal with you sensibly. I'm not going to sit here and allow you to be emotional in my courtroom as if that's going to move anybody around here. We're not moved. The only thing we want moved is that child into a safe, comfortable, and well-to-do home, not you and your emotions. You got it? So therefore, that's happening, but not vast enough. Okay, the thing is, the damage is already done. Moving forward, it's still done. Because the generations before now have dealt with bias, have dealt with blue pill, inconsistent and destructive kind of judgments that have been cast down on families that we are seeing the results today. So it's going to take another generation for us to clean up our act. But until then, while the court systems, the marital laws and the system are looking at it from a different standpoint of view, it's best to still sit here and wait until things change completely. Don't sit here and tell your son that it's okay for him to get married just because 2% of the court system is red pill. That's 2% chance of failure. And most times he's going to land straight on his face because of you. You got it? It's still best to say, well, if you're going to donkey dunk, you still need to protect yourself. Don't get married. Be a free man. Live a peaceful lifestyle. And don't do but the system or the society is telling you to do, because it's social engineering to get you in a trap situation to destroy you and to take you for all you are worth. You got it? So therefore, your archaic ideas, or your so-called old way of thinking, your outdated modem and motherboard, okay, isn't going to work here in this generation. We're not loyal like that. We don't even know who we are as people. As a matter of fact, we're confused what spirituality and religion is. We think religion is spirituality. We're so lost in blank of mind. When those are two different aspects, you can't be religious and be spiritual. You can't be spiritual and be religious. Not going to happen, because the spirit realm of the individual is different than your religious realm. Religious realm is book taught, it's indoctrinated. And there's more details behind that, but I'm not going to explain it to you right here. I gave it to you in another audio. The spiritual realm is outside of that. It's not indoctrinated. It's not in your book. You can't go to a pastor for your spiritual realm. You can't go to a priest or a mosque leader for your spiritual realm. That's between you and you alone. That's you and your own conducts. It's what you train to do within yourself, not outside. Okay? Lost people are the ones who will say, well, I'm going to accept religion and think that's all about my spirituality. Because when it happens is you are confusing your spirituality. Actually, you're programming your so-called spirituality by your religious mind. And therefore, you're not religious. You're problematic. You're systematic. You are a program automaton. Your spirit is nowhere to be found. You start feeling things and you don't understand. You're sick. You don't know you're sick. You're well and you don't know you're well, because you haven't a religious badge across your throat or on your earrings or on your nightstand, because you think that spirituality is not, well, I'm supposed to fast and pray today. Program. All right. So I had to throw that in play. I always will, because I told you in my other audios, what you believe is practically going to be in everything. It's almost like there's some ingredients in food that I recommend you. I need to start checking out. And I'm going to find out what it is. It's almost like, what is this food? Not a NATO, but there's a certain type of ingredient that I've been coming across every now and then in pretty much every food that is non-GMO. And you need to do the research yourself. And I'm going to figure out what this ingredient is. I know it's not doing you any justice by not saying what the ingredient is, but you can probably figure it out when you keep picking up boxes. You keep doing it. Keep picking up the non-GMO food and look at some of the ingredients in the boxes. Keep looking at them. And you notice they use the same ingredients for almost everything. Almost everything. Check that out. Almost everything. And think about that for a second. How in the hell can you use the same ingredient or ingredients for a different type of food, for a chopped up piece of meat, for ham, beef, or a cake, and the ingredients hold up the same? You need to question that. And as a matter of fact, I recommend not to even buy that food. And that lets you know there's some poison in it that you're not going to know until the far future. You end up with cancer in your gut and you don't know where it came from. You end up with diabetes. You don't know where it came from. Glaucoma, weakened joints, bad back. And like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Pimple face, right? A leaky gut. The list goes on because of the ingredients that are in the food. Yeah, I got to add this in it. I have to. But the thing is, if you got a different type of food, you should have what? Different type of ingredients, because it's a different food. It's a different organic matter. It's from a different plant. It's probably from, again, an animal or a plant, two different things. But if you got the same ingredient within that animal food that you're eating and the plant food that you're eating, no way. They got a hook in you. And as soon as you put it in your mouth and you be like, oh, it just tastes good. I don't care. And it's cheap. It's $6.99. I'm going to get it. And you don't pay attention to what you're eating. Okay. Long-term effects. 15 years later, you'll find yourself in front of the doctor and him checking your high blood pressure, your calories, clogged arteries. You don't even know why. Having heart palpitations. You can't breathe. Thinking that you're stricken with the cocoa and you're not. You're just internally sick because you kept taking in those poisons. Yeah, I need to check that out. So every food should have a different ingredient. As a man who do things on his own, I do a lot of cooking myself. And a lot of things that are baked and cooked, I can pretty much do it at home. But when I put it together with natural ingredients, organic, and if I use sugar, if I ever use something with sugar, it's like brown sugar, organic brown sugar, right? Because sugar is not supposed to be white. It's not. You know, when you go out there and you go to the sugar stalks, it's not white. It's going to be off-white, almost even brown, but it's still going to be sweet when you cut it off the stalk. All right? So if it's white and it's in your face, you need to question it, but y'all do it anyway, put in your coffee and get sick. All right? Because you want to pay the doctor and you want to be sick. So that's your life, not mine. However, when I put the ingredients together, I know the ingredients that are in it. It might be 5 or 6 ingredients. And here you go with this nice pumpkin pie or apple pie or a pecan pie or something like that with very simple ingredients. The sugar in it or the high cholesterol, whatever it is that I put in there, it may not be completely healthy for you, but it is way better than when you go to the store and you get that same pie. And I've done my comparison before. I'll make a pumpkin pie and have like 4 or 5 ingredients. Good, done, organic. I can eat it with confidence, and I know full well my body can handle it and recognize it. A little bit sweet, but hey, it will be done and gone. But if I take that same pie and I take it to the store and compare it, they have a whole list of ingredients, of what this stuff is in your simple pie, your simple cake or something like that, or apple pie. And it's sold right there on the front part for you to come and get it in the front part of the store in your face. They want it there so they can sell it. Oh, the bakery made this. You got a full table full of how many of them? Maybe 10 to 20 of these pies sitting there for dummies to come and buy it. And they do. And then I always have to explain to people, I say, look at the back. You see all those ingredients? I can make this same pie at home. Taste better, look better, and a whole lot more healthier. And here they are with like 50 different ingredients in this piece of junk. That's telling you to your face they're trying to poison you. To your face. And if you look up some of the ingredients, you'd be like, what the hell is this? You'd be like, this ain't necessary. This is not necessary. That ingredient's not necessary. That ingredient, they just say spice. I'm like, spice? What the? What, spice? Spice can be anything. You putting spice in, like spice? Chicken, ham. So like spice. What do you mean spice? Anything can be spice. Poison can be spice. If you look at high fructose corn syrup and the way you put it in the ingredients, you can still call that spice as well. Get the hell out of here. So they'll say spice to hide other type of ingredients that have the potential pretty much to sicken you and hurt you later on in your future, or if not immediate. You got it? But yet some people are, well, I'm going to eat it anyway. Do you notice? I've noticed that there are people in this country, in America, where 1 year they look okay. No pimples on their face. They're like 140 pounds or something like that. Looking okay, right? Especially a young Caucasian brother, right? Or a young Caucasian woman. And you look at her hair is decent, just straightforward, stringy, clear face. She don't have to put on no type of makeup or nothing like that. Just simple Jane, cute, right? And skin is clear, standing up tall, walking. Give them about 3 years with, and you could say, you can even say after pregnancy if you want to, but if there's no pregnancy, but give them about 3 years, there's pimple face, pink marks over here, hair's a little matted, right? Body start fumigating a little bit. And you're like, wait, what's going on here? And then you see their eating pattern, like, dude, are you watching what you eating? Over time, the food is telling on itself. If you do a speed camera, you're like, wait a minute, from this day to the next day, and you eat the same type of stuff, it start getting you. And it's no different in the black community as well. You get this girl who's doing the same thing, right? She's eating cheap food, Doritos and bags of whatever, and juices, go to the fountain every year. The Speedway, I ain't gonna say the name. The grocery, the gas station stops, the convenience stops on the corner, and they'll get the fountain drink over and over and over again. Give them about 2 or 3 years, They can't even hardly walk through the doorway. Be like, God, you was like 130 pounds a couple of years ago. Now you're like 170 pounds. What the hell happened to you? Feet, the shoes is like all bowed out to one side. They walking bow-legged. Face got black marks on it. Be like, what's up, dude? What's up, sister? What's up, brother? It's the food they're eating. Y'all don't understand. You poisoning yourself slowly by the fact of not concentrating on what you put in your mouth or looking at the ingredients. Because they have the same ingredients for pretty much all their brands of food, and you're eating it, and you don't understand that this particular product or ingredient should not even be in the food. It's there to hook you. Because if it was a totally different organic, natural food, it should be different ingredients. But to save money, for process and yielding, to be easier to get it in a box and to, to distill it or to preserve it for an extensive amount of time so it don't expire soon, there's these additional ingredients in it that's no good for you, and it's unnatural, and it will hurt your chemistry and your anatomy over time. You got it? So I think that this is a good addition to this audio that we have in here in the end. So that's something else you can give your children if you want to. When they're a certain age, they try and do well for their health and go to the gym. Read what you are reading. Look at the stuff. If you can't make it at home, I understand. But if you can, make it at home. Make it at home, and you see 4 or 5 different ingredients. You'll be like, oh, okay. You'll be like, how come they just didn't put that on there? They want to show you all kind of food. Oh, man, no way am I going to eat that stuff. You'd be like, well, I didn't put that in my pie. I didn't make my meat like that. I didn't put that in my meatloaf. Why do they have these extra things in the meatloaf? So there you go. So therefore, again, getting back to the main subject before I end this, I've just explained it. You got to open up your mind and think a little differently. This isn't back in 1902. This isn't 1990s, not 1930. So marriage is not, until things change, marriage isn't the idea. But the future is. We still need a family for the children. That don't mean you can't be together. It doesn't mean you can't have a family, and it don't mean that you can't be together. It's just we don't have knowledge. We are not teaching, and we're not providing proper means for our children. So therefore, the only dumbest, simplest, mammalish, first gradish thing to do is tell them, well, don't donkey dunk before marriage. Because the idiot's going to do it anyway. Ooh, I want that. And then they get it just because they're married to it. And here they are, just like you, broke, poor, and divorced. Because you thought about this ahead of time. Okay, we got to think differently, change the page, and maybe we can have a brighter future for them. The idea is to have knowledge, not tradition. Knowledge, because there's some traditions that aren't working today. Traditional things, if it was valuable and it was a great asset for the environment, then sure. But the problem is we're not practicing it. If it's good, if it's valuable, hold on to it. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Huh? Am I speaking English or am I speaking a different language? Like, are you understanding what I'm saying? Therefore, if it's valuable, we would do it because there's a probable, sensible kickback and benefit from it. But today, there's not. But you're still going to have to donkey dunk anyway, and you're going to do it eventually. So that means the responsibility is on us as adult parents. It falls down on us. If you don't want to be responsible, close your legs and your mouth. Okay? But as soon as that possibility happens, it's up to us to teach them and guide them in the right direction. That is the solution. Not tell them to avoid it. There's not going to be no avoidance, and it's hard to do it if they're a natural man or a natural woman. This is going to make them even more curious, and it's going to make it even more of a destruction when they are able to jump out of the doghouse. They're going to be free, never to go back home. So you break them in gradually, but you tell them the truth, not indoctrination. Tell them the truth, not an indoctrination.